Hey guys, so now that we've kind of set up your streak pipelines, I'm going to show you the next step, which is how to add people into your lead and your forming groups. Those are the two that we're going to focus on today so that you can start getting people so then we have people to follow up with. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you how and why I decided people go where. Okay, so I'm going to, again, I loaded up my Gmail. My pipelines are here, and I'm going to go to my Challenger pipeline. That's the one that we've created. And again, this is for any of your groups. So what I do and how this basically is my power hour is in the mornings I don't always have time to do my power hour all at once, so I do it in chunks. So what I really just want to do is I want to just go through and write down the names of people who've engaged in my stuff, so later I can decide if I want to go to their profiles and check them out. This works especially with Instagram. So again, those people go under lead, and then I decide from there if I'm going to form them. So when I form them, well, we'll just start with putting them in leads. Okay, so here's what I do and how I do it. I either pull it up on my Instagram, but I'm going to show you Facebook because I can actually show you that. And I go to any posts I had from yesterday that are about health and fitness. Those are my Challenger posts. So I'm going to go to a right hook that I put up yesterday about the health bet. Now, look, it wasn't like hugely successful, actually. So what this does is it actually tells me maybe I should look at this post. There's something about it that, you know, maybe it was the time, maybe it was what I posted. It didn't get too much engagement, but it got some. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click on, well, it's only 3 names, but otherwise if you click on it, it'll pull up more names. And then really quickly, I'm going to go to up here. Let me minimize this so you can see everything. New box. And I'm going to type this person's name. Now, if they're in another one of your pipelines, their name will show up and it'll say duplicate pipeline. So I'm just going to super quickly, all right, so I know Tracy's a coach on our team, so I'm not going to put her name in. And, okay, so I have these 2, and then I'm going to look, and anyone who commented, I'm going to like it, and I'm just going to reply real quick. I'll shoot you a message ASAP. So she sees that I've seen her post, and I type her name under lead. Now make sure you spell it right for Facebook, and you write it exactly how it is. Now, I also know that I happen to put up this same post in my health locker room, which is my free group. If you don't have a free community group going, I'm going to recommend you make one. It's where I host all my free trainings. It's where I put customers. I have about 400 people in it. So, you know, it's a good place that when I have events, I can, you know, I already have my community here. And I had a lot more interest here, right? So I'm actually going to put Tracy's name here because, well, I'm going to leave it because it's for a health bet. So I am going to just take a note on another piece of paper of the coaches who've liked my stuff that said they're interested, because then I know that I want to just make sure I reach out to them. Hey, are you joining or whatever? So I'll put their names here so I know to reach out to them. Okay, so this is just for challengers. So I'm going to add in people who aren't coaches. Tanya. And see how I wrote her full name? Because again, if you're writing their names from Facebook, it'll come up duplicate. And then I had some comments too. So these people are coaches. Okay, so I'm gonna write their names down. All right, so now I have their names under lead, okay? I'm gonna fill out all their information now, super quick, just so I know. And the only thing, I don't have their email, I haven't invited them to anything, but the only thing that is important to me is the source. Because like I said, I'm gonna be, I'm going to be, that's funny, I'm going to refresh real quick. I'm going to be doing this from Instagram too. Sometimes I have like the same post up on my like page. I haven't put it up on my like page yet, so I need to know where they came from, because especially if they come from my like page and we're not friends already, what I like to do is I like to, you know, make sure that I have their info there. Okay, so the one thing I thought I did, but I didn't, I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna freeze this first column. So now as you see, I'm scrolling over and it's like I don't lose their name. Okay, so I'm gonna create a tag. This is my tag for the first time. So I'm gonna write Facebook and I'm gonna create a Facebook tag. Okay, so now anytime I meet someone on Facebook, I just can type it and it's already here. Also easy, you can copy and paste. All right, so that took me what, 30 whole seconds? And now I have their names here. Okay, so that's the first step. That's what I do when they're in the lead category. Okay, now I want to check out their profiles. I want to start forming them and decide you know, what if I'm gonna message them or whatever. So the next step would be to kind of go to their profiles. And a lot of times I do this in like one shot. So say I go here. What I might do is go to her profile and just kind of like check her out real quick. So I see she's, you know, I can write some notes about her. I can say like, oh, she's a doodles. She's a mom like me. She's got, you know, kids, like young kids and stuff. And I can keep all those notes in her notes column. So I don't know why this thing does that. So I can keep all of her notes in this notes column. And then when I'm doing my actual power hour, when I get to just the forming section, I easily can just go to her profile, go to her stuff, and like a couple pictures. You could also add them to a list if you want. So say I go to her page and I like want to, all right, I'm not sure if I'm gonna invite her yet. I'm gonna go to add another list, and then I'm gonna go to new list. I'll just call this one Health Bet. And I'll call it Health Bet, you can call it Challengers. So now she's on my Health Bet list. So now when I'm forming during my power hour, all I do is I scroll to the left of my screen here, and I go to Friends, and I hit More, and I've now created this list called Health Bet. And so she's on this list, and what I'm also gonna do is add any of these other people that I'm forming on this list. Okay. Add them here. So I just type their name and they should come up. I got it ready. Okay, so now they're on this list. What's gonna happen is they post on social media, only their posts are gonna be in this list. And so now it might take like a little bit to show up, or maybe they haven't posted yet today, but I'll show you an example of another list. So here's my free group. Anyone who's like my free group post, I have 81 people that I'm forming for a free group. So now when I'm doing it and I get to my forming part of my power hour, I just set a 5-minute timer and I kind of just scroll through, and maybe I'll like, oh, it's someone's birthday. I'll say happy birthday. I'll, let's see, like some pictures. It shows me who's playing out of games. You know, I can like some pictures. I can see who I don't want to be friends with, you know, type of a thing. You know, and you can kind of just go through and form them instead of going to each of their profiles. So that's what I recommend. I recommend you add them to your list if they like your stuff. And then if you do want to form them and you're not ready to invite, then you put them on their list. Okay, so after you've done this, you click on their little pipeline over here. I don't know why my thing is being kind of funny. Normally it just lets me, there we go. And now I'm going to move them. So you go to the stage, and now she is in the forming pipeline, okay? And this is where I could put any notes about her, anything I know, until I'm ready to invite. It'll say how long they've been in the stage. So say, for example, you don't know, it's a Saturday, you don't have a lot of time for a power hour, but you have 5 minutes to just go through the post from yesterday and put their names on, because you don't want to forget, oh, I did a right hook on Tuesday for Transformation Tuesday, but I might not have time to actually form them or message them until Thursday. You can do it real quick. Just so you don't forget about them. But I've already done this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually go in and I'm going to move these people to the forming stage. Now, the one thing I found that you can't do is you can't bulk move people from one stage to another. Now, I can move them from one pipeline to another, but I can't move them from one stage to another, which is kind of a pain in the booty, but I'm gonna still figure out if I can do it. And I also don't know why I have to refresh so many times this time around. But I'm gonna move all these people to forming, because I wanna form them for a little bit, which basically to me is like, I'm gonna check out their profile, I'm gonna send them messages, I'm gonna talk to them. And then the next step is gonna be the Google form, which we'll talk about tomorrow. I'm gonna show you how to create a Google form and then what to do with these names once they've done it. So now what I'm actually gonna do, let's see if they've been added to my list yet. During my power hour, and like, this is real time. It's only taken me like 5 minutes. It's not very long. Depending on your post, if you put a Transformation Tuesday post, I bet you have a lot of names up there. But I'm gonna go back later. I'm just gonna go to their profiles, like the last 5 of their pictures, just so I'm present in their thing. I just wait because it'll load eventually, like once they post today or, you know, or whatever. And then I am more present in their stuff, and then I will send the invite. So That's kind of how I do these first 2 stages during my power hour. Again, this is people that have liked my post or engaged in it, whether they commented or said they're interested or not. If they like it, they go here. Then once I put them on that list on Facebook, once I go to their page, like 5 of their pictures, then they're in the forming stage, and I'll probably send them a message. For these people, I'm actually going to directly invite in a second. But what I would tell you to do is just go to their profile and send them a message. Hey, how are you doing? How's your day? And you know what? I'm actually going to do that now because I'm not going to have time to do my power hour later. So I just want to send them a message real quick, and then later I'll go back in and I will actually invite them straight away to fill out my Google form. But I want to, check in with them and see how they're doing and stuff. So I'm just going to click on their name real quick and say, and this will also tell me, like, we last talked on Friday, right? So I know this conversation is pretty fresh. So I'm just going to say, hey girl, how is your week going? Computer's super slow today. And then this way, it's going to just start the conversation before going directly into the invite. So that's your job today, is I want you to go through to a post about health and fitness. It doesn't always have to be a right hook post. If I'm posting about my 21-day fix meals, and I'm like, oh man, I love the 21-day fix, I get to eat so much food, and then I post, I don't know, and 5 people like it, well then I'm going to go to those 5 people's profile, and I'm going to talk to them and just say, hey, how are you doing? I may not invite them right away, but I'm just going to open that conversation up again. And hopefully your technology is not slower than mine today, type thing. See, the last conversation we had was in July, so I definitely want to re-chat with these people. And sometimes what happens is we have these conversations. You have another July conversation. We have these conversations, and I know that, like, they sometimes be like, yes, I want to join your next group. See, like, I messaged this person Monday. They still haven't gotten back to me, but I'm still going to message them. And then we'll do this last one real quick. And I know she's in my free eating group right now, so I'm not going to ask her. I'm going to probably have a different message to send her because we just talked. When was that? Monday. So, yeah. Okay, so that was it. That was my live, real-time, how I do my power hour for this. So this is so simple. All I do is add their names. When I'm forming them, I like their stuff. And then, bam, bam, now I know that I've opened a conversation, and the next step is going to be inviting them to fill out my Google form. So, I really recommend, you can do it in one shot. It's like super easy if you just pull up who's liked it and send the message that way. But this way I can go to their profiles and like a couple pictures. I can see this girl's been going to the gym, like, just so you know a little bit more about them, so you're not just like randomly sending messages. So I'd love to know how it goes for you, and we'll talk soon.